Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to Painted Prayers Final Reveal. It's good to be back. I've literally had these paintings sitting on my desk for months. And finally tonight is the time to reveal them. So welcome. If you're new here, I do a thing called Painted Prayers where I pray for people using paint. And it's often a really neat time, a time to just sit and be with the Lord, a time to pray, a time to hear from the Lord, and it's been a real blessing to be able to do this, and definitely something that I plan to keep going and continuing to do so. If you're interested in having a painted prayer done for you after you see these, feel free to put your name in the comments. And just say add my name to your hat, and I will add your name to my hat. I have a couple people on my list, but yeah, I've got room for more, so feel free. And I do paintings. If somebody wants a second or third painting, I do that as well. All right. So after a very long wait. These two paintings are finally about to be revealed, and I think I'm going to start with you, Christina. She's from Scotland, and your painting was really quite neat. I'm just going to give you a look at the final piece of art. So, Christine, when I was doing the background, it was quite a while ago, so I'm just going to remind you, it was actually this way when I was painting your background. And there was like this very vague head of a lady with her hair in some water being washed by the Spirit and in worship. And I felt like he was washing things out of your hair, getting things out of your hair. And so as I was praying about it and asking the Lord to reveal to me further what exactly he was saying, I felt, Christine, to call this, I'm just going to try, that might give a little bit better of the actual colors that are involved here. So I call this one, Christine, Reflections. And I felt that a couple of words for you. I felt insight, contemplate, understand, hair, worship, tears, turmoil, washing, womanhood, fullness, victory in your thought life, perception, and restoration. And so as I was digging into this, I felt a couple of verses, Christine. And by the way, guys, if any of you have anything to add to this painting, like if the Lord is giving you something for Christine, or if you're just like, oh, that painting is speaking to me something and I just need to say it, but feel free to put it in the comments. The more the merrier. I always love to collab with people. So yeah. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 18 was one of the verses that I got. And it was, as water reflects the face, so the heart reflects the true man. And then in James chapter 1, verse 22, it says, but be doers of the word, and not just hearers only, or you'll be deceived. And then I felt 2 Timothy 2, verse 7, which is, reflect on what I'm saying, and the Lord will help you to understand all of these things. And one of the colors that I felt to focus on, like there's several colors in your background. There's yellow, there's blue, there's green. And sometimes I feel to bring out a certain color and just kind of like dive more in depth with it. And so in this particular painting, I felt to emphasize the color yellow. And so I looked up the meaning of yellow, which stands for happiness, optimism, enlightenment, and creativity. But it also has a dark side, and that is of caution, cowardice, and betrayal. And so in total, Christine, what I was sort of sensing as I was painting this for you was that I sensed that sometimes you're at war with yourself. It's like the person who God has created you to be struggles with accepting the weaknesses of who you used to be. There's a bit of a battle between the two. So if this was who the Lord was calling you to be, then you struggle to accept the weaknesses of the person you were. There's like a bit of a war or a reflection, a contemplation as to how do I overcome this so that I can walk more fully into that. And that was the struggle that I was sensing as I was painting for you. It was like you're looking into the mirror, and it was like you're seeing this when the Lord wants you to see this. He wants you to see her, but you're being held back by the perception of who you were, or weaknesses that you perceive in your own life. And I felt like the Lord wanted to let you know that He has put inside of you the heart of a warrior, and that you will overcome in due season. And I felt like that your perceived weaknesses are actually the proving grounds or the pruning grounds for you to become more fully developed in Him. He hasn't just lopped off those weaknesses and past mistakes and things like that, because they are developing in you a strength, and they are also opening up a door for His glory to shine through. It's actually He's using it to bring you into a more fully developed place. So they aren't actually in competition with each other. And I felt like He desires to wash you of your past mistakes, and to bring you understanding and insight as to what he was putting into you at that time, and what you are overcoming now, being created in His image. And so I just felt like, Christine, like as you come into this like reflection or contemplation of moving past and into victories over some of the things that have held you back in the past, I just feel to say to you, victory, victory, victory. That these reflections, this contemplation is something that He is drawing out of you the character of Christ. And so therefore, don't just hear the word of the Lord, but do it. It's this encouragement to take action on the things that you've learned, and to walk forward into that place. So Christine, I call that reflections. Let me know how that sits with you, and I'll just need an address, or I can send it Debbie's way, and then she can send it to you, depending on whatever's easier. So that's for you. Reflections. And I do pray, one of the things I was just wanting to just add to that is this whole reflecting on what He's saying, for the Lord will help you to understand these things. I feel like He really wants you to go towards Him for the understanding, for the insight, and for the wisdom that would come out of these things. All right. So painting number 2, this was for Keola, Kway, which I'm not totally certain if that's a Facebook nickname or if that's her, like it might be her real name, but I shortened it to Kay, just because it's easier for me. It's easier to pronounce Kay. But yeah, your painting actually ended up being a bit of a multimedia piece. So you can kind of see like the texture there. And then I'll just bring it up a little bit, let you have a look at it. This was a really interesting one for me to do. I was stuck on this for quite a while. In your background, I had the two colors, the purple, the blue, and then the yellow with a crown on top. And I felt like again, same thing as I was feeling for Christine, that there was victory and it was a crown of royalty over you. And then as I was painting, I was just sensing this kind of roughness. And then as I kept kind of going into it, I felt like I was to paint roses on top of that roughness, right? It was on top of this rough texture. And as I was doing that, the Lord started to give me different words for you. And this is just what I sensed over you as I was painting for you. Layers. That sometimes things happen one step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time, that there are layers to these things. There's a mystery, a romance, an authority, an elevation. Rough roads equals great destinations, a fight and a royalty. And so I call this painting Crowning Roses. So it was a crown of roses. It's like a victory of roses. Your interpretation took an interesting turn in that there's a bit of a story here. And I have a verse or two to share with you, but I think I'll go into the story next. I was searching for why the roses, I was asking the Lord, why roses, and what is that symbolize, and crowning roses and stuff like that. And I came across this story, and it's quite long, so I just summed it up on the back of your painting. But it's an excerpt from the story, the loveliest rose in the world. And this is not my story. It's just something that I found while I was doing some research on your painting. So once there reigned a queen, and we were talking about you being a royalty, there's a royal thing, which is why I sense that this story has something to do with you. So there once reigned a queen in whose garden was found the most glorious flowers from all seasons, varieties, and lands from around the world. And her favorite, however, were roses. And they grew everywhere, on the walls, around the pillars, window frames, passages, along the ceilings, and in the halls. And roses of every variety, fragrance, form, and color were in these places. And even though she was surrounded by all of this, in those same halls, there was also dwelling sorrow and care. Sorrow and care, because the queen was under a death sentence that no one could break. And so the people were disturbed by that. And one of them cried, like he was a wise man, he cried, "There's still one thing that could serve her. Bring her the brightest, most loveliest rose in the world. For if she sees it in its most pure form, the brightest expression of love, it will remain before her eyes, and she will be surrounded so much by a sense of love that she will not die." And so the people searched and searched and searched, and the poets sang, and the intelligent thought. The warriors offered their lives and courage to this cause. A mother brought her child, a bishop brought his offering, but nothing could be compared to the rose that the queen saw when when one of her people reminded her of the rose color of Jesus's blood shed on the cross. And that was the most beautiful rose that she could look at. And I felt like that the Lord wanted to speak that story over you, that he is the most beautiful rose in the world, and that his blood overcomes and creates a victory in your life. One of the scriptures that I felt went along with your painting was Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 7 to 9. It was majestic in its beauty. It's referring to a tree with its spreading boughs for its roots, and that its roots went down to abundant waters. The cedars of the garden of God could not rival it, nor could the junipers equal its boughs, nor could the plains tree compare with its branches, for no tree in the garden of God could match its beauty. There is nothing that can compare to the beauty of the Lord Jesus inside of you. There's nothing that can compare to the beauty of God in you, the hope of glory. And there's such a revelation of the sweet fragrance of that salvation over your life. And that rough roads equal great destinations. I feel like you have walked over some rough patches, but over top of that is more roses. And he's like, rough roads have equaled even greater, beauty and privilege, and like even more of an expression of his great work inside of you, the mighty power of God to save. And in Revelation chapter 20, verse 9, it was like, and they, the evil mob, marched up over the breadth of the earth. They encircled the camp of the saints and all about it, the beloved city. And fire came down from the God of heaven and devoured the evil mob. And I feel like that is like a picture of the Lord's tenacity to save you, to the audacity that he would send fire from heaven, consume the evil mob, and rescue his beloved saints in the city. It's a picture of how he came down with fire and blood and water and sacrificed his son to save you. And it's this revelation of the beauty of his sacrifice that brings you victory and beauty that pales to rival anything else in God's garden. It is that beautiful. It is so beautiful. Okay. And I just sense that there's something of a revelation of that he wants to put inside of you, that your life speaks of this. And so I just pray for that. I just pray for that victory and for that crown and for that rose-colored fragrance over you. And that you would just be able to walk in that. And I hope that speaks to you. So in the background there, one side is more purple. The other side is sort of a teal blue with a yellow in the middle and yellow roses all around. And so, yeah, I'm going to need your address so that I can finally send this painting your way. So just once again, I'm just going to bring up one sec here. Let's see. I'm just going to show this one. So if you would like a printed prayer, just say add my name to your hat in the comments and shoot me a message. I do have a suggested donation of $60 for one of these and $15 for shipping. If you would like one, feel free to do that. Again, it's just a donation. It doesn't have to be $60, but that's just a suggested price. Okay. And then the other thing is, I just absolutely love doing this. And so I just thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming. And yeah, so in sum up, Christine, reflections. It's about that battle between old and new, and being able to walk in your newness and to walk in that freedom and to allow the past to strengthen who you are now. And Kayola. Crowning roses. The power of the blood of Jesus and the beauty of his salvation inside of you. That's for you. I did have a third. It was for my current roommate right now, Lois, and I just gave that to her in person, just kind of between her and I. So yeah, I usually have 3. At any rate, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. And I shall do another backgrounds video, hopefully fairly soon. And we'll see you later. God bless. Love you lots. Over and out.